So one of the things that happened here while I was at Muscadero, we worked with White and Kennedy, right? Because we had a sliver of Nike at the time. This is like, again, early 90s, had a sliver of Nike. And I would talk to Dan, talk to David Kennedy. One of their clients at the time, Bedbury, Scott Bedbury, presented me this idea called Hair Jordan, H-A-R-E. And in America, I don't know about here, but in America, hair is also a name for a rabbit, right? So he presented this ad to me, a print ad. It was a campaign with Michael Jordan. It was just a storyboard. And it was Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. And he said, "What do you think, Jimmy?" Because I was a resident black guy in Oregon. It was mostly white folks working on the Nike account. Also at White and Kennedy. Not today, but in the early 90s, that's the way it was. So I got to represent all black America in the United States. It was pretty dope. Anyway, I said, that's the stupidest idea I've ever seen. What has Michael Jordan and basketball got to do with, MJ? Basketball, Michael, Bugs Bunny. That doesn't go together to me. Fortunately, they did what? They didn't listen to me, right? They created the spot, ran on the Super Bowl, blew up, and the next thing you know, Warner Brothers, which owned Bugs Bunny, which owns Bugs Bunny, asked Phil Knight, the co-creator of Nike, let's turn it into a movie. So you can make $100 million at the box office. And Phil said, nah, we just make shoes. So they didn't do anything with it. The next year, they did a 90-second commercial. White and Kennedy and Nike did a 90-second commercial. Runs on the Super Bowl, blows up bigger than the first. Warner Brothers flies back up to meet with Phil Knight, and they said, "Phil, how much did you spend on that 90-second commercial?" And he said, between media, production, I don't know, 30 million. And they said, take half of that, put it towards this feature film, and people will go to the movies and they'll pay you money to watch your ad. They're going to give you money to watch a 90-minute ad instead of you hoping that they're sitting in front of the TV to see your 90-second ad. This is before YouTube, right? Nah, we just make shoes. So for those who don't know, Nike had nothing to do with what became what? Space Jam. It had nothing to do with it. Space Jam made $283 million at the box office. Made $3.5 billion in merchandising. So all told, that one advertising idea made close to $4 billion. And at the time, Nike was a $6 billion company. If Dan could have convinced Phil to turn it into a movie, they split it 50-50. That's $2 billion and $2 billion. So I'm not saying, when I say agencies should own or co-own, it's good for the company, the brands as well. Because now you're empowering companies, ad agencies, to come up with ideas that they never would have dreamed of, that blow the socks off of just having a 30-second commercial, print ad, digital banner, so on and so forth. So one of the other things that Dan did, Dan's on the right, by the way, for those who don't know, and David Kennedy's on the, no, Dan's over here, David Kennedy's over there. So Dan had this knack for putting people together that looked like they shouldn't go together. Next, oh, I got the buzz, huh? So this is John Jay. I call him Dr. J. For those who don't know, Dr. J is a famous basketball player in the U.S., one of the greatest of all time. And so at the time, he was just John Jay to me when I first met him. Short Asian dude, and we're working on street basketball in the U.S. Dan put us together. I'm going, what does this short Asian dude know about basketball, street basketball? Basketball that mostly blacks play, he doesn't know. I'm not saying that to him, that's just going through my head, right? Stereotype. Dude, me and John started working together. We created some work that led to this right here. If you could play the first video. How do I get that to play? Play some. So the work that John and I worked on led to that. Hal Curtis was my art director on that, one of the whitest cats on the planet. So you got the whitest cat on the planet, Hal Curtis, Asian cat, John Jay, and then the brother, me, and we cooked up stuff that became that. That's when you got to a new place by putting different people from different backgrounds, different walks of life together to create something new. And in the US, that's considered like, anytime somebody does what's the top basketball commercial of all time, that's always in the top 5. So that's how John Jay became Dr. J in my mind. Lee Cloud. So when I was working at Chiat, I was working with Lee. Lee was my boss. He would say I was his partner, but that's Lee Cloud, man. That's like Yoda, right? So he taught me about the nincompoop force. That's where, yeah, you got to wager through the nincompoop force. I don't know if you know what the nincompoop force is in France. No? The idiot force. So that's what nincompoop means. So we would have to wade our way through the idiot force. And one of the things that happened there was, and this is one of the things, like I'm weaving through diversity and I'm weaving through ownership, the importance of that, right? So I didn't work on this account. I was working on Gatorade. But we had Activision and we had Call of Duty's Black Ops. And while I was there, the team working on that created the biggest entertainment launch in the history, right? Not Michael Jackson's Thriller, not James Cameron's Avatar, but Black Ops for Activision was the biggest launch in history, entertainment history. What was the thanks that Chiat got for creating that work? The very next year they got fired. They did the biggest thing in history and they got fired. They gave it over to the guys at 72 and Sunny, who are good friends of mine. Love those cats. They're dope. They had nothing to do with it. If I was in their situation, I'd take the business too. Who doesn't want to take the business? But the idea, it floored me. I'm going, how does that happen? You mean to tell me, I'm thinking it's all about the work. It's all about doing great work. It's all about doing great work. But there was some politics going on above between the new guy at Activision and the head of creative over at Chiat. They didn't get along, but they couldn't put their differences aside to do what was best for the business. And so what Lee and I did while we were still back on Gatorade is we created this thing called Gatorade Replay.
I work 10 to 12 hours in my profession, and you have to spend time with your family and kids after that, and the first thing that goes is exercise.
I love this story. It's about a score that hasn't been settled in 15 years on the football field.
Welcome to the 87th meeting between the State Liners of Phillipsburg and the Red Rovers of Easton.
A 27-yard field goal attempt. It's blocked! The whistle has blown. This one is over. A sister kisser.
Time might be worse than the loss. We think we have a score to settle.
Gatorade has chosen to team up with the towns of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and Easton.
We're inviting the guys from the 93 team to strap on the helmet and shoulder pads and replay that game to determine the true champion once and for all.
Finally tonight, old high school football rivals.
With the same guys who played 16 years ago?
This is one of the best moments. It will be the best moment in my life, other than when my daughter was born.
Replay is a game that Gatorade's doing to prove that once you're an athlete, you're always an athlete.
The original head coaches were invited back.
The original cheerleaders, some of the original band members are going to be here.
The returning players underwent a rigorous 2-month training regimen created by Gatorade Sports Science Institute.
I lost 57 pounds for this process. Wow.
Throughout the 8 weeks, the documentary content was cut into episodes and posted online, allowing the nation to follow their journey.
I said to Coach, we're gonna kind of come out in sweats and warm up, and he said, no, we go full pads every day. Coach, we're in our 30s. Come on.
15 years away from the game, you're just not going to be able to get that kind of finesse in a day.
Your eyes are certainly showing concussion.
A lot of people out there saying you can't do it. Let's prove them wrong. 1, 2, 3.
10,000 tickets sold out in 90 minutes.
Everybody is so down and so
depressed. This was such a myth.
Gatorade athletes Peyton and Eli Mann joined as assistant coaches.
The field temperature right now is at 100 degrees.
In the most oppressive of conditions, there were no major injuries, no heat exhaustion, and no broken bones. Talk about the ultimate product demonstration. 160 million media impressions followed, including being named one of CNN's top stories of 2009 and a 6-page feature in Men's Health. Nearly every major movie studio has shown interest in creating a feature film. And Replay is now a documentary television series. The 1-hour premiere aired nationally on Fox Sports Net to its 90 million subscribers in prime time on Sunday night, Thanksgiving weekend.
I'm going to cut that because I'm running out of time here. But we didn't own that. We created it. Brent Anderson, Steve Howard, Lee, myself, and the rest of the team created a sports and entertainment network for Gatorade, created Gatorade Replay. You saw you had all the major studios wanted to turn it into a movie. It's a TV series, but we didn't own it. So I was trying to tell the heads, the powers that be at Shine at the time, that the finance guys, that we should get behind this and own it and turn it into a film ourselves. We don't need this, and that. Let's go do it. Couldn't convince them. So that's when I started Amusement Park Entertainment. And this is what I call, you have to ask me this on the side. I don't have enough time to tell this story, but getting from Chiat to Amusement Park Entertainment to where we are today, it took a lot of stress wood. And stress wood, ordinarily stress is bad, but I learned that a little bit of stress, depending on how you approach it, is good. Especially when you got Jesus Christ. He'll help big time. So, my man, Michael Rawl from IPG, he's a minority owner in Amusement Park. He put up the money to get us off the ground. And our first major ownership thing, one of our first. We had some before this, but this is like the main one. It just came out. It's called Heaven Sent.
Another tense night in Ferguson, Missouri, with police and riot.
This is Heaven Sent. Let's go with this. Let's play this. Should I go back one?
Another tense night.
Click on, is there a video after this?
Fire.
Should be a video. This should be a video. Lord's will. No video? Tripped up at the 10. Okay, that's a football terminology. So let's go with this one then. So this we did with a all-star basketball player named Damian Lillard. Damian plays for the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA. He starts point guard, superstar, and we found out he could rap. And so we created a record label called Amusement Park Music. So we actually own this song with JBL and with Damian, and it's done very well.
Another tense night in Ferguson, Missouri, with police in riot gear firing stun grenades and tear gas in a chaotic scene. Dozens of people were arrested overnight, some 31 arrests. The curfew was lifted and replaced by new rules prohibiting protesters from congregating, as protesters demand justice for the unarmed teenager fatally shot by police 10 days ago. National Guard troops also patrolling the streets.
Look for God when you're trying to defy the odds. Need to look up to the sky and let go of all the pride. The game changing, we're trying to make arrangements and let go of that anger. Put that food into our brain instead, aiming steady at the youth. We trying to change culture. New leaders, we ain't coming from that same holster. Been in that heat of the moment, we from that same toaster. Emotions rolling, just know I've been on that same coaster. That famed heavyweight to carry up the heaven's gates. Know that heat rise. The devil gotta levitate, we elevate. Son, don't hesitate. Son, we was born to lose, but we gon' get it done.
I see sounds in my mind. I hear colors as I go. We all walk side by side, even if we're on a different road. I know this is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love.
I see the world from a lens of my own perspective and see the anger driven by color in the recession. Sad to see the reality of our regression. Cops killing, drugs selling in a state of a depression. When I get pulled over, should I be afraid? Cause lately the bad's getting away. If my attitude bad cause of the day, would it threaten them enough where I maybe could catch a stray? But it's a two-way street, you probably hate to hear. It kinda seem like they striking cause it be out of fear. Aggressive kids getting bullets, then they be out of here. We more than lately gon' be some time before we out of tears. No need to separate, remember that these times cooler. We ain't dealing with segregation for all the schoolers. Throwing dirt on the work of Malcolm and Martin Luther. We stand together, let's make it different than what we used to.
I see sounds in my mind. I hear colors as I go. We all walk side by side, even if we're on a different road. I know, 'cause this is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love. Yeah, yeah. This is something bigger than love. Just like the colors of the rainbow, we'll paint the world with our colors, and everyone will know.
God created us equal, so let's embrace it. And like you run into evil, you gotta face it. Let's win the race instead of everybody thinking racist. Bad habits we inflated, look what we created. We need change, better attitudes to open up lanes, better avenues. Need to rise up, but we hated latitude. Let's try to think about the kids bred after you. Every day I wake up and see the breaking news about the hate crimes, media gon' make you choose which side you gon' support so they get rates and views. Now people shooting up reporters cause they hate the crews. We the people gotta love one another. Let it be known with nothing undercover. Let's take control of the future instead of letting it hover. Everybody to the table, make sure you bring it something.
I see sounds in my mind. I hear colors as I go. We all walk side by side, even if we're on a different road. I know this is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love. This is something bigger than love. Yeah, yeah. In the road, I know this is something bigger than love. We compliment all the colors. Just like the colors of the rainbow. This is something bigger than love. We'll paint the world with our colors. This is something bigger than love.
So that was something that we created, obviously. And then finally, and there's no video for this, but Heaven Sent is when the guy jumped out of a plane from 25,000 feet with no parachute, no wingsuit, dressed pretty much the way I'm dressed. He had a helmet on. And like that was going to help him from 5 miles up. But anyway, landed in the net. It aired on national television in the U.S., one of our big stations called Fox. It was on pay-per-view throughout the world. And we had a client brave enough in Mondelez, and with Bon and Bo, Laura Henderson, Dana Anderson over at Mondelez. Mondelez owns Cadbury chocolates, Oreo cookies, Chip-Ahoy cookies. And this was for Stride, their Stride gum brand. And in that process, there were people, blacks, whites, Latinos, everybody from across Rainbow Coalition working on this project. And so, when you bring people from different backgrounds together, and with the idea of making something that you can co-own, we own it 50-50 with Mondelez, you can make some magic happen. So, thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Smith. Okay, before we go, Jimmy, perhaps any questions perhaps for Jimmy before he moves on? I'm sure you can catch him a little bit later on at network a little bit later on over a drink perhaps, and speak to him about what. Oh, we have one. Yeah.
Jimmy, you said diversity is key, you know, to be more creative and to come up with great ideas. So the question I have is, how do you define diversity? Are you talking here, you know, how do you define diversity actually? Is it different backgrounds? Is it necessarily different, you know, ethnics? What is it for you?
I define it as race, color, and creed. As when I was coming up, it was the majority of the people working in the advertising business were white, right? And now that I'm grown up, the majority of the people working in the advertising business are white. that needs to change. At least in the U.S. I can't speak for all around the world, but at least in the U.S. And it's every time I've worked with somebody who didn't necessarily look like me, and vice versa for them, that's when we've gotten some pretty amazing work, you know, created. So definitely, you just can't help it. If it goes all the way back to the Bible. If you remember the Tower of Babel, right? That story. And at that time, everybody was working together, spoke the same language, whatever, whatnot. They were going to build a tower that went all the way up to the heaven. And it wasn't so much that they were going to build a tower all the way up to heaven. It was more so that they were arrogant. They got divided up, everybody, right? So, but still, the baseline, the bottom line net of that story was basically mankind, womankind is unstoppable when we come together and work together as one. Can't. It's just an age-old truth.
Jimmy, what do you think, what means Mr. Trump, the new president you will have in your country, in the United States? What does this man mean for the advertising industry? What are you thinking in the industry about him, and what will happen? If something will happen, I don't know.
For the advertising agency?
Yeah, for your industry where you work. At business, yes.
I think he'll be great for the advertising business. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of laxing or rolling back a lot of the regulations that were involved. So many of the companies like Exxon or oil company, not necessarily good what's going to come about it, but in terms of what's going to be done to the world in terms of global warming and all that, but you asked in terms of advertising. So companies are going to be able to do whatever they want to do, and fewer rules, so they'll spend more money. Now, while that may be good for your advertising pocketbook, it's not good for mankind as a whole.
Understand. We'll see.
Okay, any other questions, perhaps?
Yeah.
No, thank you once again, Jimmy Smith. Fantastic. Okay.